We have another day, another interview, and today I had the opportunity and I had the honor to be here next to Bulletproof. Thank you, my man. Thank you for coming today.
Appreciate it.
No, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. So, but let's talk about you. So, this is Bulletproof Belt. Let's talk about that first. What's the meaning of Bulletproof Belt? Why you came up with this name?
Well, my friends, my childhood friends, they gave me a name, Bell, B-E-L-V, when I was younger, because I was drinking Belvedere, and
Oh, that's why. Okay. I was searching. I was like doing the internet. Like, what is the meaning of Bell? Let me talk about
Belvedere. So I used to drink that a lot when I was younger. So they called me Bell. And then I added the Bulletproof back on, like I think in 2010 when I got shot. So it was just like Bulletproof Bell.
Okay, so then now you mentioned that about the shot. I want to talk about that, but let me just, before we mention about that, we talk about that, let me go more about when you were a kid. How was James Anderson, that is your name? So how was James Anderson when he was a kid? How was his life? He was happy, he was sad. How was him?
I'm one out of 12 brothers.
12 brothers.
Yeah,
That's a big family.
We're all 1 year apart every year for 12 years. My mom had kids. The last two were twins. Named us all after the Bible. So I grew up in the church atmosphere. Dad and mother went to church. We actually came up to church in New York all the way from New Jersey every Sunday. My dad was in the Army, so he came home, started working at the post office. So he was really strict. My grandmother lived right across the street from us. I was a performer.
Since they were a kid?
Since I was a kid, I used to always do like the Michael Jackson moves. I tried to sing 24/7. Any event I was at, I had to take time out to make sure that I was seen in it, that everyone see me trying to do something I thought was talent at the time.
Right. So then you were thinking since they were a kid that you were like a performer, or you were like an idea that you were going to be in a stage?
I always wanted to perform. I just knew I wanted all eyes on me. I wanted to make people happy by doing something in front of everyone. And I was doing that at every Christmas event, every Thanksgiving, any chance I got, I wanted to perform. I wanted to be the best at what I do. And I just grew up doing that a lot. And
that was your idea, that was your image. But what about your dad? Since you said your dad, he was in the army. What he wants for you? Sometimes we want something, but sometimes the parents, they want something else for us. And talking about those days, the parents, they were like more strict. They were like, oh no, you have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer, you have to be an attorney. What did they say to you?
He was a disciplinarian. He taught us hard work.
Mm-hmm.
He taught us that nothing's given to you, that you have to literally work hard for it by yourself, and there's consequences to every action you take. He joked a lot sometimes, and he's a funny guy, but in all, he was strict. So I think growing up around him, it was more of not trying to impress him with my talent, but just, not trying to get in trouble as much. I stayed out of trouble as much as I could. Didn't want to be disciplined. And the one thing I did take from him before he passed was just work hard. And I've been doing that ever since, whether it's a job, whether it's music, whether it's documentaries, anything I do, I just put all my effort into it, because he taught us how it's supposed to be done.
So your mom and your dad, did they support you in this career about the music artist?
No. I think my mom definitely. My dad kind of. When we were going to church in New York, my mom, she wrote songs for us to sing in the choir. We had our own little set for after the choir goes up and do their thing, then we go up and do our thing. And he definitely. My dad wants to perfect it. My mom, she wrote the songs, and we got us in front of the church and we performed it. So I think that my parents kind of actually did help me become who I am in some ways. And we kind of block it out, but now that you're asking me, I'm thinking back to it, it popped like, since I was young, they were supporting me. I didn't see it at the time, but I see it now.
Okay, so you never realized that. You see, it's good to go back sometimes and see what's going on in our lives.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. So then when you start like a bit more in contact with the music, when was the time? When was the moment that you were more influenced for the music? And that you said like, oh, I want this for my life, so let me just go to the music.
We didn't have much cable when we were growing up, but going around friends and then playing music and stuff like that. I really wasn't into hip hop at the time. I was like, what is that? But I was into like Michael Jackson at the time, and he was like the biggest superstar on earth. And just to see him perform and also moonwalk and do a real performance. He wasn't just a singer; he was a performer.
Were you dancing before as a Michael Jackson? Were you doing the
Yeah, I skid marked the floors of my sneakers, and I got beat for it and everything. So yeah, I actually my first talent show was in high school, and I actually sung I think Usher, You Got It Bad or something like that in front of the crowd. I did my dance move and everything like that. So I've been, like I said, I've been performing since forever. It's just that I started rapping later on in life.
Right. Okay. So then you were saying that you were doing the Michael Jackson moves and everything. Yeah. So then why you didn't continue with that kind of music?
You have to know where your talent's at, and at the time, it's certain notes I couldn't hit. I wasn't taking singing classes or anything like that, so I didn't know how to hit notes and none of that stuff. So I was like, you know what? We moved to a different area, an urban area where it was more of a hip hop area, it was more gang life and stuff like that. So I never really saw a singer singing about being shot or being shot at. So living in that type of atmosphere, you kind of want to do hip hop more anyway. All my brothers were hip hop fans, and seeing Tupac and Biggie, as they started to beef at the time, I was like, ooh, what's that? And then, it kind of was like, then I started loving hip hop a little bit more, because I started getting into the drama of hip hop. 50 Cent came out, it's like, okay, this is hip hop. And once again, it's the lifestyle I was living, so I was like, you know what, my friend was like, yo, try to rap.
So then you said like in the hip hop because the thing that you see around, or because somebody get used to put you into the hip hop life?
I think it was both, the atmosphere you're in and also the people you're around, because at the end of the day, if it's your friends, if it's your family, and they're listening and doing one thing, you don't have to do it, but it's like you hear it so much, it influences you. You're like, oh, let me try to rap, let me try to do hip hop, and then if it works, it works. And to me personally, it was just easier.
So okay, that's good. So let me just ask you more about your family. Then I want to win more about referring your dad. So your dad, he was in the military thing, and then you start like in the hip hop. Hip hop is like a more like rebel music. It's like a really like a rebel, like that music that is against or talking about more the real stuff than the pop music and everything. So since your mom, she was a Catholic, since your dad, he was in the army, I can tell them in your life, in your house, it's like they were really strict with the morals, with education and everything. So the hip hop is a little more like a different style.
When puberty hits, everyone tries to do the total opposite of what their parents want them to do.
Exactly.
So I think that was my rebellion, was hip hop. Also, like I said, the atmosphere that you're in, you're seeing people be shot, you're seeing people be shot at. You're in that lifestyle. And, it's just like, it's hard to not want to try hip hop. It's hard not to try to want to be a part of something that is still music.
Right.
So it was just more of the singing side of me. It was more of like I didn't put it away. It was just more of like, I'm not doing that right now.
Right.
I could always try to come back to it, but I'm not doing it right now.
Okay.
And I heard other singers, they were 10 times better than me. So it's just like, that's something I could never do, even if I tried. So I was like, you know what, let me just try hip hop. I love music so much, I want to be a performer so much. Let me try to perform doing hip hop instead.
In the hip hop, that's good. So then tell me about the moment that you said you were shot. What happened in there?
At that time, it was a lot of drama in like around my house, my mother's house, and family in just that area altogether. I actually I was inside and I was writing letters to like family and friends that were locked up, and someone called my name, and I went outside. An altercation happened with individuals, and from what I see, I just see a flash, and something told me like, you're shot. So I fell on the ground.
So you didn't know really exactly what happened?
I mean, I kind of knew, but stuff happened so fast,
right,
that it's just like your brain tries to cope with what happened by, I mean, not saying telling a different story, but it's just like, I was basically just worried about like living.
Right.
And there were people out there, like I didn't know my mother was out there. You know what I mean, at the time. That's like, the altercation happened with my mother out there, and I didn't even know she was out there at the time. That's how quick it happened.
And let me ask you something, since you mentioned that, do you know who gave you the shot? Can we know about that, or we can know about that?
No, it happened years ago. Supposedly, the people that did it, they supposedly got locked up, but I mean, it's not for me to say if they did it or didn't do it. If that's what the law wants to say, that's what the law wants to say. But
so since that moment that happened, so how your family changed? Because I know it's gonna be the before and after the moment.
Oh no, this was a normal. I mean, for me it was new. It was a normal thing. I had a couple brothers that was shot before me. I had a couple brothers that was shot after me, and this is something we were used to. It was just.
So you start seeing it as a regular thing. That was. I mean, you start seeing it as a normal in your life.
To us, it was normal, and it was like that's what happens. If you're in the hood, that's what's gonna happen. And I never even expected to leave that area alive. I was like, I'm gonna definitely die here. People gonna pour out liquor for me. Did this, gonna be celebrations, this, that, and third. I didn't have my mind wasn't thinking straight at the time. And like I said, I didn't see nothing outside of my area until I went other places. And when I went other places, then I started to realize, like, what was I thinking? Like, why was I acting like that?
Right. So then after that moment that you see those things in your life, how about your experience after the shot? How do you see yourself before you started getting involved with the hip hop? Before you started involved with all these gangster life that you have in your neighborhood?
When I grew up, I didn't grow up in the urban area, so I didn't have aspirations of being a gangster. I didn't have aspirations of doing none of that stuff. You see it on TV and stuff like that as a child, and it's just a movie to you. I first moved to an urban area. I seen somebody get shot at a young age, and as you're growing up, your parents like, mind your business. Don't go talk to nobody about what you see.
Right.
And I always take what older people tell me, and I'm like, they're right because they're older. They live that life. So if someone tells me don't tell nobody, I'm not gonna tell. Mm-hmm. Not saying they meant don't tell about that, but I take that one aspect and I use it towards my whole life. Right. So I saw somebody get shot at a young age, and I mean, from the movies, either superhero, somebody saves a person, the person didn't get saved or anything like that, and I'm seeing the person just later, and then the ambulance comes like 40 minutes later, and it's like, wow, it changed my aspect in life. Like no one's gonna help you. You're out there alone by yourself, no matter what happens. And you don't just get up and walk away like in the movies. Not
even your parents that were there to help you.
I'm saying what I seen, but when I got shot, my mom, she actually called. I think she called the neighbor to call the ambulance because she didn't have a phone on her at the time. So yeah, she definitely tried to help, whatever like that. But at the time when I got shot, it was more of I was angry. I was living that life, so I mean that happens in that life. I was so angry when I came home. I was like, I wanted to give people payback, and I didn't realize until like a couple months later. I think my brother may have been shot before me, after me. No, after me, my brother got shot, and we were just so amped up and ready to go back to war and do all this other crazy stuff in the hood that we didn't realize the cops were watching us, and they actually kicked our door down. They was looking for guns and all that stuff like that, and they actually they removed us from that space, that house that we were living in. Mm-hmm. And watching my mom lose a house, that clicked. And I blame myself for that. I was like, yo, I was doing all this crazy stuff and I lost that. I'm the reason why she lost that.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm the reason why she lost that, maybe I need to do something to help her get it back.
Right.
And that's what changed in my mindset. Like all the bad stuff that was in the newspaper articles and that was spoken about us and the legacy that we were leaving in the hood, it was more like I have to change that.
Right.
And every day since that day, I've been doing articles and I've been doing music, and it was all to like impress and make the legacy for my mother and her last name and my father's last name be better than what it was.
Okay. So then tell me about your, when you started doing your own music, when you started, okay, you know, I want to start doing the music. How was the moment? How did you really get into the music? Who was the first person to put you into the music? You know, let's do this, or how did you get into the music?
Well, for rapping, my friend Marcel Reed, we were in college, and he was just like, yo, he was rapping, and I was like, yo, let me jump on some songs with you. And I jumped on some songs with him just to play around. And then when I got kicked out of college for weapons possession, I actually was home and I wasn't doing anything. And I was like, you know, all my brothers, they're rapping and stuff like that. And in the hood area, people are dissing you on tracks, whatever like that, and saying whatever they want to say. I was like, why don't we just put a CD together? Mm-hmm. So I put that together. We put a CD together, and after that, I was like, you know what? It's a hard work trying to put a group of people together on one CD. So let me just try to do my own albums and put my own stuff together. I know I want it. I know I want to work hard for it. I know I can get there. So I just started putting stuff together, back to back, just dropping albums here and there whenever I got a chance to.
Right. So how about the experience? How about the feeling after your first release?
Every time I put something together, I always feel like, yo, it's my best work ever, and people are gonna love this work. Mm-hmm. And then I work on my next album and just be like, no, this album is my best work. People are gonna love this.
Which one?
Every one. Every time.
Okay.
Like even now, the album I have out now, Everything Earned, I feel as though it's my best work, period. Even though everyone's still listening to Dark City Lights, the pop song I did with Maddie Carlisle, mm-hmm. which is the most played song I have, I still feel as though this is my best work. And then the next songs I do, which I started working on my new album, I feel as though that's going to be my best work as well, which you should.
Right, but that's for sure. Every single day that we discuss, obviously we get more experience, we get more things to know. So then obviously everything that we do, so it's going to be with more knowledge, with more experience. So it's going to be always the best. The last thing is also going to be always the best. So, but let's go back again to your life. Let's go back again to your family involved. So then you said that a couple of your brothers that were shot as well. You were shot as well with a gun. So, what do you do to get better for you and get better in your life? I mean, with your family. Well, what do you do?
It was once again like when I got shot. It was just more I was angry. And I wanted to make somebody pay for it. And the same with my brothers, because we were raised to be aggressive, and my dad taught that army mentality to us. And it was more of when the authorities removed us from the house we were at and the area we was in, which was the urban area, that changed because we weren't going out there anymore. So it was more like, if I'm not out there anymore and I can't be out there, I don't have like a home base to be out there. There's no reason for me to be out there. Let me go do something else, and just like I said, watch my mom lose her house because of the activities I was into, thereof or not thereof. It kind of made me change my thought process. Like, what am I doing?
Right, exactly.
I mean, like I'm a mama's boy, so at the end of the day, I want to give her the world. So
right.
For her to lose something because of me, that hurt me the most.
Right.
So I was like, I want to give back to her, and start off with legacy first, start off with your name, and start off with correcting all the wrongs, which is the bad press that's in the paper, your people, what they speak about you. Before, she was never really being able to post, like, these are my sons, this is what they do, this is what they do. Now, every day that I'm in the paper or something like that, she's posting, this is my son, and I'm like, yo, that's the feeling I want to give her every day.
Great. Do you miss somebody right now? Do you miss somebody right now?
What you mean about who? My parents?
I don't know.
No, I miss my father. He was there when everything started to take off just a tad bit. And he saw me in the paper for the first time. He was proud. He was, oh, this is my son, this is my son, this is my son. So when he passed away, it kind of hurt. that he's not able to see all the success that I'm having.
Okay.
Anybody that was there from the beginning, when I told them what I was going to do, somewhere along the line where they kind of fell off and they're not there no more, I missed not being able to speak about what's going on with them and being able to show them firsthand. Right. They have to see from outside in, like, wow, right, that's what he's doing. And sometimes I want people to see the hard work. Coming up here, taking an hour drive up here, you know, just the grind. Someone telling me like, yo, that's a great job. You're doing a great job. I was here since day one. And a lot of people really miss that because either they gave up on me or they gave up on whatever situation we're in. So I miss the fact that I can't give my day one people the opportunity to be around me as I'm doing what I'm doing.
Right. So right now that you had experience, now that you have this all, let's say all this knowledge about your life, about the things that just happen in life, now that you're doing your bars, now that you're doing the lyrics in all your songs, with this experience that you have right now, what will you say to the kid what would you say to James Anderson right now when he was 10 years old? Which will be the advice that you gave to him?
I would tell him to keep being him and keep experiencing and keep following your dreams, which I already did. I always think like, when I was younger, I always think like when I was in my teens, like, yo, I wish I could go back and change this. I wish I could go back and change that. I wish I could stop this hurt. I wish I could stop this pain. I wish I could stop being shot. I wish I could, I mean, now it's more like, if none of that stuff would happen, I wouldn't be here.
Do you regret or anything that has happened in your life? Did you blame somebody for everything that happened in your life?
I'm not the type of person. I don't blame nobody for anything. If anything, I blame myself. I'm hard on myself. But like I said, I would never change anything in my life. Because at the end of the day, you change one thing, you might not be the person you are. I could change one thing and I could be working at Shopper right now.
Exactly.
Not living my dream. I actually gave up on doing music. Like I said, when my dad passed for 2015, 2016, I didn't put nothing out. And I really was like, yo, I'm done. It's over. If I would have stopped right then and there, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
But then I came back with Dark City Lights, Dramatic Carlisle, and certainly it took off.
Right.
And it took off, and like I said, I wouldn't change anything because I needed that experience. I needed the people that passed away. I needed that hurt. I needed that pain. I needed those emotions. Because before I wasn't rapping about emotions, I was rapping about anger. Right. Anger is an emotion, but it wasn't the emotion I needed, like
to really express,
to break me open.
Right.
Anger is just one thing, and you can regret a lot of stuff doing stuff when you're angry.
Right. So there's a lot of people. There's a lot of. People that is studying in the business, even as an artist, even in the college, like a doctors, a dentist, lawyers, anybody. Do you have any advice for these people that are studying in the career, as a performer, as an engineers? Any advice that you could give? Do you have children?
No, I don't have children, but I have nephews and nieces. But what I would tell them, when I told you I got kicked out of college, I actually went back in 2015 and I graduated with a communication degree because I just wanted to do that for my grandmother that passed away as well, and I promised her son, my uncle, that I was going to do it, and I try to keep my promises. So I would tell anybody out there through adversity, no matter what's going on, finish every journey that you start, especially when it comes to your career, because love can leave. Friendships, they could end, family could stop talking to you, but your career, the effort you put into that is always going to be love, the love that you have for your career. And just keep grinding because, that's what we're here for, to build a legacy. And when you leave, you want to leave something on this earth besides just you living here at one point in time. So leave a legacy, finish your career, love your career, and just build on it.
That's good. That's good. So what's the next step for James Anderson, for the Bulletproof? What is the next step?
My next step, I'm actually working on a book right now. It should be finished by 2020. Hopefully it'll be out in 2020. It's a fictional adventure book. I have a couple of documentaries, and I think some performances probably that might end up on Netflix. So hopefully those will be coming out in the near future. So it's going to look like I'm doing it right then, but I already did it now. So we were trying to finish up shooting for some of these shows. So hopefully I get into more acting maybe. Or doing Netflix, doing
so
shows.
now you're a singer, now you're an author during the book. So what is missing? An actor? What else?
Author, storyteller.
Author, you're doing it right now because you're writing the book right now. So
yeah.
An actor, what else?
Anything that has to do with just performing or just any type of thing in the industry where it's anything that makes me happy, to be honest with you. And I like to just like get a story out to anybody, whether it's performing or writing it, telling it. This is my world, and I just want to do anything possible inside this atmosphere. Just to, if I'm happy about doing it and it makes me happy, I might as well do it.
Right, exactly. But this show is called Daydreaming TV1. It is about the dreams that everybody has in the life. So now we have right here to Bulletproof that he just talked about his life, and then the reason why we do this is because we want to show people that behind of success people, behind them, the people that have a career, people that they have a something in life, behind of them there's a story, there's a life. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not that good, sometimes he has some difficult in the life, but like he say, he got many things to pass in the life, but he always think positive, he always think about, to grow up, and he continue doing the good things. And that's why he's here right now. So Bulletproof, James Anderson, thank you for being here today. Thank you for sharing with us your story today. Is there anything else you can add to this story about you?
Hopefully later on in life I can add a legacy y'all guys to see. But thank you for you and Daydreaming TV1 for having me. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for being here, and hopefully this is our first story with you. Hopefully in the next 5 or 10 years, you come back again. Or maybe next year you come back again, and then tell us what is new with your life. What else is going on with James Anderson?
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right. So, but before we leave, actually, thank you so much for being here again. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching this interview. But before we end this interview, I always like to give something back. I always tend to bring my interviewers to the back, when they were a child. You wanna go back with me?
Let's go.
All right. So we're gonna move the chairs a little bit to the side. Let's do on the side a little bit because we need a space in here. All right. You ready? Leave the microphone away. Put the microphone away. Now you just have to start. Relax. Nothing's gonna happen. Everything's good. So I got something for you. This is your material. This is yours. This is yours. This is yours. Okay, what is this? This is from Mexico. All right. They say "Viva Mexico." Do you see that? Do you read the Spanish? Do you know Spanish?
I date Spanish. Viva Mexico.
That's it. That's the one thing that you have to know.
I know.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, ¿cómo estás? I know a lot I know bad words. That's all.
But today you forgot all the words.
Yeah.
All right, so we have this. What's the purpose of this? Okay. This is just something that we have. All right. So then we put this in here. Inside. Got it. And then we have this inside. You know what it is?
For music?
Probably.
No,
You put it inside?
It's in the time.
Yeah, it's inside already. Turn around.
Oh,
Exactly. That when you're in the baseball player, when you're in the soccer, when you're in the basketball, everybody like hey. That's the way it works.
Oh.
All right. So with simple things like this, so nowadays everybody, all the kids now, everybody's in the phone, is in the tablet, is in the computer, but they forget about the simple stuff. This is just simple. This is wood. This is just as simple as it is. You know how much kids, they were just happy with little things like this. So I'm telling you, and I'm telling everybody, don't forget the simple things in life. I know we have to be update with the technology about cell phone, about computers, about everything. But things like this is just as simple as the way it is. So don't forget the simple things and make people happy around you. If you're happy, you're gonna make happy people around you.
Definitely.
So don't forget this.
Simple things in life to make you happy.
That's true. Since you're talking about happiness, it's just simple. It's not happiness. Yes! Do you want more? Are you ready for more? Or you're done with this?
I'm done.
Done. Well, thank you, my man. Thank you for being here today.
Appreciate it.
It was a pleasure to have you today. So then, this is Daydreaming TV1. Please follow this gentleman. What's your social media?
www.bulletproofbelv.com.
And then you're gonna find all the social media of this guy in there. So, thank you for being here today. This is Daydreaming TV1. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to share.
Gracias.
There we go. Now you're speaking Spanish. There we go. For the next interview, you're gonna say more than gracias the next time, okay?
Gracias.
But thank you for being here. This is Daydreaming TV1. Don't forget to share the story. And then if you like this, don't forget to comment. And then get the likes, okay? Thank you so much. Have fun.
Fine.